Hello, once again, Kenny Jacobs from Bloomington, Illinois. I'm going to do another video this evening talking about current events as it relates to Bible prophecy. And I want to, first of all, real quickly, just read a little bit of Revelation chapter 6 as kind of the scriptural background for the rest of the news this evening. Revelation chapter 6, verse 1, kind of a famous section of the Bible that talks about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Verse 1 says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, 'Come and see.' And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, 'Come and see.' And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, 'Come and see.' And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, 'A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.' And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, 'Come and see.' And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." Well, the first horseman, on the rider on the white horse, is the Antichrist. And he comes on the scene offering a false sense of peace, confirming the covenant with many for 7 years, and it will appear to have all the answers and have the world's problems solved. But it will be a false peace. That's why he goes forth conquering and to conquer, and it shows he has a bow and a crown, but he has a bow but no arrows. False sense of peace. Then the second horse, the red horse, the rider on the red horse, is war. He's given power to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another, and was given a great sword. And of course, Jesus said in the last days there'd be wars and rumors of wars, and obviously that's going on right now all around the world, and seems to be getting worse. And then he opened the third seal, and the third one rider was a rider on a black horse, who had a pair of balances in his hand. And this horse goes out, and it has to do with economic breakdown and collapse, hyperinflation, food shortages, people not being able to afford to eat. And then the rider on the last horse, the pale horse, again is war, famine, pestilence, death. That rider is going to kill over about 2 billion people. 2 billion with a B people. But if you look at the world events right now, all of these areas are taking place. Famine. I've done some reports lately on how bad the drought is in the western part of the United States. Obviously, there's also drought and famine in Africa. Food prices are going up. There's water shortages. There's food shortages. I saw today that there's a new rise of bubonic plague in China. There's a city, a town with 30,000 people being quarantined because of an outbreak of the bubonic plague. There's also some cases of the pneumonic plague, a pneumonia-like plague, in Colorado. Both of those types of plagues apparently you get from animals, and that's what's happened. In Colorado it was because of a dog, and in China it was a rodent. But the Bible says in the last days there'll be pestilence. Who knows what kind of pestilence is coming up through the border crisis in Texas and Arizona right now. We know for sure that there's tuberculosis down there now, and scabies, and all sorts of issues are apparently taking place down there. And the Ebola virus is spreading like wildfire through West Africa right now, and doctors are saying it's actually out of control. All the signs are here, guys. It's just absolutely amazing. So I want to go ahead and read some news stories today. I want to read 3 different articles out of the Arutsheva today. The first one is titled, Iranian Christian to have lips burnt for eating during Ramadan. Iranian judge sentences a Christian man to have his lips burnt with a cigarette for eating during Ramadan. It says, again, the Iranian judge sentenced the man to have his lips burnt for eating during the day in the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The barbaric punishment was carried out in public in a square in the city of Kermanshah. 5 other Muslim men were also flogged in public with 70 lashes for not fasting during Ramadan. The city's deputy governor said. A spokesperson from the National Council of Resistance of Iran, a political coalition which opposes the government, denounced the treatment as savage and called on Western countries to take action. Well, don't expect this Western country with Obama to do anything. It says the silence of the rural community, especially of Western countries, vis-a-vis these medieval punishments under the excuse of having nuclear talks with Iran, has intensified the brutal and systematic violation of human rights in Iran, said the council. This will ultimately embolden the Iranian regime to continue its nuclear projects more than before, it added. Earlier this year, the UN blasted Iran for the persecution of Christians in a report laid bare to the world in March. At least 49 Christians were among 307 religious minorities being held in Iranian jails as of January 2014, noted the UN, which also criticized the regime for its hostility toward Jews and dervish Muslims. In 2012, it says, Iranian police arrested between 100 and 400 Christians and threw them into prison on charges of creating illegal groups, participating in a house church service, propagation against the Islamic regime, and defaming Islamic holy figures through Christian evangelizing. It says there are an estimated 250,000 Christians in Iran's 76 million strong population. They all face torture, imprisonment, or death sentence under Sharia law for not observing Islamic religious festivals and dress codes. Christians are facing trouble in other parts of the Middle East as well. In Egypt, Coptic Christians have been targeted by violence from the Muslim Brotherhood, while in Syria, Al-Qaeda-linked rebels have threatened to kill Christians who do not join the fight against President Bashar al-Assad. Again, Sharia law, Muslim faith, the execution of Christians, the persecution of Christians, the stoning of adulterers, crucifying people. Unbelievable. That is so against the Word of God and the spirit of Christianity and what Jesus Christ preached and how He lived and what He wants. Just like the woman who was caught in adultery in the Bible and was getting ready to be stoned, and Jesus said, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." When all the people left, He said, "Where are the people who condemn you?" He said, "No, they don't condemn you, and neither do I." But with Sharia law, they'll cut your hand off for stealing, and they start stoning people. It's absolutely out of control. And then here you go, this barbaric burning this guy's lips, a Christian, for not recognizing an Islamic holiday. All right, let's go on to another story out of the Arutsheva today. If I can get this thing to work. The Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran says to Palestinian Arabs, keep fighting Israel. The only way to deal with the savage regime is to continue resistance, says Iran's supreme leader, while we, as America, keep negotiating with Iran when it's clear they do not want peace. It's clear they're building nuclear weapons because they want to destroy Israel, probably want to attack America as well. Yet we're going to continue to give them more time to negotiate. Why are we negotiating with these terrorists? Here we go. Wow. It goes on to say, he urged Palestinian Arabs on Wednesday to keep fighting Israel. The only way to deal with the savage regime is to continue resistance and armed struggle and extend it to the West Bank, which is Judea and Samaria. The IRNA news agency quoted Khomeini as saying, Iran, which does not recognize Israel, is a supporter of the Hamas and Islamic Jihad terror groups that have been at the forefront of the fighting in Gaza. Khomeini and other Iranian leaders have been for years attacking Israel and calling for its elimination, just like Psalm 83 says. Let's go ahead and look at that really quick. I know we do it a lot, but again, it's just worth... I'm going to read one verse out of it. Again, they want to eliminate Israel, so let's look at what Psalm 83 says. It says in verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. That's what Khomeini wants, that's what Iran wants, that's what the Palestinians want, that's what Iraq wants, ISIS wants, Turkey wants that. Yet we keep turning our backs on Israel, and we're continuing, for some odd reason, to trust that Iran means what they say when they say they will not build nuclear weapons. Let's see, in November, Khomeini said that Israel is a regime doomed to collapse and referred to the Jewish state as the rabid dog of the region. Several weeks ago, before that, he called Israel an illegitimate and bastard regime and further called the United States a smiling enemy that is not to be trusted. Khomeini also denied the Holocaust, saying in March, in European countries, no one dares to talk about the Holocaust, and we do not know if it is real or not. In May, he accused the Israeli government of being wicked terrorists in a series of tweets. So again, why are we trusting Iran? Why are we letting them continue their nuclear program? I maintain it's because the New World Order is about to take off. The Antichrist is about to be revealed. The peace treaty is about to be signed. And the final 7-year period of time is about to commence. And for all of that to happen, the last thing that's preventing that from happening, besides the restrainer that is holding back the evil, is the fact that the United States is still a world power, but it certainly is in rapid decline, and Obama is doing everything he can. In fact, he's been doing everything he can since he campaigned the first time for president to destroy America. Here's another interesting article today out of the Yoret Sheva. It says, Lapid, retaking Gaza is on the table. We decided when to start the operation, and we will also decide how to move forward, says Finance Minister. Finance Minister Lapid made it clear on Wednesday evening that Israel retaking Gaza was on the agenda should Hamas not stop the rocket fire. We decided when to start the operation, when to attack from the air, and we also decide how to move forward. Retaking Gaza is an option that is on the table, said Lapid, who stressed that Hamas leaders should know that we will reach each and every one of them. It says, we will not prevent an operation for economic reasons. The defense system knows that it has all the required budget for each activity. There have been calls on Israel to retake Gaza in order to deal with the rocket threat from the Hamas-controlled territory. The most vocal calls have come from Foreign Minister Lieberman, who has said time and time again that the only way to eliminate the rocket attacks is to take over Gaza. Goes on to say, we've never had a crushing blow that hurt the other side's ability to launch missiles, adding that he believes the only way to achieve complete quiet is to retake Gaza and be there for 6 months to a year to clean it out. I would love to see Israel retake Gaza, and while they're at it, I'd love to see Israel destroy the stupid Dome of the Rock and take over the Temple Mount again. Should be theirs, and they should be able to worship on that Temple Mount. It's right now. They should be able to do it right now. And I'm tired of all the Muslim fighting and rioting on the Temple Mount and keeping the Jews from going up there to worship. All right. That's enough of that. Let's go to a couple other stories out of Prophecy News Watch. A couple of natural disaster possibilities. This one, experts predict 2/3 of the U.S. could be devastated from a Yellowstone eruption. Reported in certain videos recently, not too long ago, I reported that the roads were melting in Yellowstone. Been talking about how the animals have been fleeing Yellowstone, and there's been some increased earthquake activity in Yellowstone of late. So it certainly looks like there could be something going on there. So I won't read all of this article, but I will post it into the description box. It says, every year more than 3 million people visit one of America's most popular tourist attractions, unaware of the tempest that lies just below the surface. One sign of the tumult occurred last month when oil bubbled up to the surface, damaging a road in Yellowstone National Park as a result of the extreme heat from the thermal activity below. It basically turned the asphalt into soup. It turned the gravel road into oatmeal. Let's see here. It says the Yellowstone caldera sits on top of North America's largest volcanic field. 400 miles under the Earth's surface is a magma hotspot that reaches up to just 30 miles below ground level before spreading out over an area of 300 miles across 3 states. It says that it could blast 240 cubic miles of ash, rocks, and lava into the atmosphere, rendering about 2/3 of the nation immediately uninhabitable. 2/3 of the nation, according to some estimates, and plunge the world into a nuclear winter. Meanwhile, geologists have recently discovered that Yellowstone supervolcano is twice as big as previously thought. To put it in perspective, the Mount St. Helens volcanic explosion would be minuscule in comparison to an explosion at Yellowstone, which could pack 2,000 times the power. Alright, I will go ahead and just post this into the description box. But again, guys, we forced Israel into parting their land and forced them into some sort of a peace deal that we should not be doing. Chances are something like this may happen to America. Here's another possibility. And I follow the earthquakes every day, and again, I report on how that activity is certainly on the increase. And in a lot of places in the United States lately that aren't really places that have earthquakes, like New York, for example. Oklahoma, for the last couple of years, has been unbelievable with the amount of earthquakes they've had. So here it is, earthquake risk rising in central U.S. where many people are unprepared. Earthquakes are occurring more frequently in parts of the U.S. where they have historically been rare, and quake hazard is rising for people not used to thinking about it or preparing for it. The rising risk was underlined Wednesday by the release of the U.S. Geological Survey of an update to the U.S. National Seismic Hazard Maps, noting hazard in the central U.S. and on the East Coast higher than previously thought. Among the highest risk states, Missouri and Illinois. According to the USGS, the frequency of earthquakes in central and eastern U.S. has quintupled to an average of 100 a year during the 2011 to 2013 period, up from only 20 per year during the 30-year period to 2000. Quintupled. Most of these quakes are minor, but research published by the USGS demonstrated that a relatively minor magnitude 5.0 earthquake caused by wastewater injection after conventional oil drilling triggered a major, much bigger 5.7 magnitude in Oklahoma. Again, I'm just going to post this and say, we part Israel's land, God's going to deal with this nation. One way he may deal with it would be parting the land of the United States through a massive earthquake, right through the central part of the United States of America. A lot of people are having dreams and visions about that very thing. And again, in Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13, Jesus said in the last days there will be earthquakes in diverse places. And that statistic is not one you see reported anywhere, but this is from the United States Geological Survey, and again it says that the frequency of earthquakes in the central and eastern U.S. has quintupled during the 2011 to 2013 period, and I can assure you here in 2014, it certainly hasn't slowed down, and I'll bet you it's still increasing. Guys, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, certainly if they're not riding now, they're warming up. If the Antichrist isn't on the scene, he sure is about to be. And it's time to make sure you are 100% sure of your salvation. There is one true God and one true source of salvation, the cross of Jesus Christ. Faith in Him and Him alone. Again, not a popular message with the world, but I'm going to keep preaching it. And it is time to make sure you are saved, and we need to continue to pray for our unsaved family, friends, and loved ones. Pray for the people of Israel. Pray for the poor people living in Gaza who are being used as human shields by the Hamas terrorists. This world needs a revival. Is there time for one more revival? I don't know, but we should keep praying for one. But the signs of the times are here, and the world just doesn't seem to want to hear about Jesus too much anymore. Which means it's time to keep looking up. It's coming back soon. God bless everyone.